Hello students, I am Miss Thandor SS. Today we will see the different theories or bonding in coordination compounds. But before that, once again I am reminding to like, share and subscribe my channel. So let us see bonding in coordination compounds. Actually the coordination compounds are discovered by Warner, and Warner couldn't answer some questions like only D block elements can form the coordination compounds, but not all the D block elements can form coordination compounds. So Warner couldn't answer the question why the certain elements only. It is written here why the certain elements from the coordination from the D orbital can form the coordination compounds. What is the reason for that? Then the coordination compound, according to Warner, the coordination bonds are directional bonds. They have a definite geometry. So why these coordination bonds have directional properties, that also he couldn't explain. And why coordination compounds have characteristic magnetic and optical properties there. That means the coordination compounds have a particular color. So what is the reason for that? So the Warner couldn't answer these questions, and some theories put forth to explain the different properties and also the geometry of the coordination compounds. And these are four theories there. First one is a valence bond theory. Then the second one is your crystal field theory. First theory is a valence bond theory, VBT. Then second one is a crystal field theory. It is a CFT. And third one, ligand field theory, which is called as LFT, and molecular orbital theory, which is called as a MOT. Out of this MOT we have studied already in 11th standard. We have studied in 11th standard. Ligand field theory, we are not going to see ligand field theory this year. This year we are going to study only the valence bond theory and crystal field theory. So the valence bond theory actually depends upon the hybridization, different types of hybridization, and the geometry depends upon the hybridization. So first we'll see, question maybe for MCQ, first we'll see different hybridizations, and so the geometry of that depends on the hybridization here. So this is your types of hybridization. So when sp hybridization is there, we'll see different hybridization and also the geometry. So when there is a sp hybridization, first one, then the geometry is a linear geometry. Then sp2 hybridization, then it is a trigonal. Wherever sp3 hybridization is there, then it is a tetrahedral geometry. Wherever dsp2 hybridization is there, then the geometry is a square planar. When dsp3 hybridization is there, then it is a trigonal bipyramidal geometry. Wherever d2sp3 or sp3d2 hybridization is there, then it is a octahedral, and d3sp3 hybridization is a pentagonal bipyramidal geometry is there. So actually the valence bond theory depends upon the types of hybridization and so geometry of that particular complex there. So first we'll start with the valence bond theory, and then we'll go for crystal field theory here. So let us see. Valence bond theory. I'll write here. Valence bond theory. This is also called as a VBT in short. So what is a valence bond theory? Actually, according to this theory, the central metal atom or central metal ion on the under the influence of ligand, they form the hybridized orbitals here. So I'll write here the central metal ion under the influence of ligands use n minus 1 d orbital or ns orbital or np orbital or nd orbitals write this below, orbitals for hybridization to form a set of equivalent orbitals of definite write this definite below, okay, geometry. So what is a valence bond theory? In valence bond theory, actually the central metal ion, they under the influence of ligands, they use n minus 1 d or nd or np or nd orbitals for hybridization to form here set of equivalent orbitals of definite geometry here. So what is n? N is a principal quantum number. For example, we'll take one example of Fe. For Fe it is 26 atomic number, and hence electronic configuration is your 1s2. It is 1s2, then 2s2, 2p6, then 3s2, 3p6, then 4s2 and 3d, 6 plus 4 10, and these 10 20, 3d 6 it is. 26 is the atomic number. So here in this case what happens? What is the n minus 1 d orbital? N here, n is principal quantum number is a 4, as the electrons enters in fourth orbital. It is a principal quantum number is a 4. N minus 1 d orbital is your 3d orbital. Then ns is your 4s orbital. Np is what? If the electrons are entered in s orbital, 4p is also there, 4d is also there. That means these are the empty orbitals, but these are there for available for the bond formation also, available to accommodate the electrons also, and hence the central metal ion under the influence of ligands, they can use n minus 1 d orbital or ns orbital or np orbital or nd orbital for hybridization to form a set of equivalent orbitals of a definite geometry there. So from valence bond theory, first we'll come to know the hybridization. First point we have to find out hybridization. Then from hybridization second point you can find out geometry. Then third point you can find out nature, whether it is a paramagnetic or diamagnetic. Then fourth point, from valence bond theory you can find out here type of complexes, whether it is inner orbital or outer orbital. That is, I'll write here only whether it is inner orbital or outer orbital complexes. Outer orbital. How to find out whether it is inner orbital or outer orbital? If n minus 1 d, I'll write here n minus 1 d orbital is used for the hybridization, then it is an inner orbital complex. If nd orbital is used for hybridization, then it is a outer orbital complex here. So this depends upon whether the orbital is used, inner orbital is used, or outer d orbital is used for the bond formation. Then the fifth point is magnetic moment. Magnetic moment, and this magnetic moment you can find out from number of unpaired electrons present in the complex here, and you can find out the magnetic moment using the formula mu, that is equal to under root n into n plus 2, where I'll write here, where n is what? N is number of unpaired electrons. Unpaired electrons. So if number of unpaired electron, for example, we'll take if number of unpaired electron is 1, then just you substitute value of n there. If n is equal to 1, then 1 into 1 plus 2, and that is equal to 2 plus 1, 3, and 3 ones are 3. So under root 3 is your magnetic moment, and unit for this is a Bm, Bohr's magneton. I'll write in bracket, unit is Bohr's magneton there. That is a Bm, in short you can write. Then next point you can find out here, spin multiplicity also. Spin multiplicity. How to find out spin multiplicity? So for this again one more formula is given, that is 2s plus 1, where again s is what? S is spin quantum number. If only one, and that also depends upon the unpaired electron, number of unpaired electrons there. If all the electrons are paired, then s is a 0. Why it is 0? For all the paired electrons, because the electrons are paired. This is a spin quantum number. So one is in clockwise direction, another spin in anti-clockwise direction. So one is a plus half, another one is a minus half, and that is equal to 0. Only one electron is there. If one unpaired electron is there, and for that s is 1 by 2, that is a half. So here also if s is unpaired electrons, I'll write here, if unpaired electron number is 1, then in that case 2 into 1 half plus 1, and that is equal to 2 into 1 half is 1 plus 1, and that is equal to 2 here. So spin multiplicity is 2. So from a valence bond theory, what you are supposed to find out? Hybridization. So geometry of that complex, then nature, whether it is a paramagnetic or diamagnetic. If all the electrons are paired, then it is a diamagnetic. If unpaired electrons are there, then it is a paramagnetic. Type of complex, whether it is inner orbital complex or outer orbital complex. If inner orbital complex is there, then in hybridization n-1d orbital is used. If outer orbital complex is there, then in hybridization nd orbital is used. N is what? It is a principal quantum number. Then magnetic moment you are supposed to find out depending upon the number of unpaired electrons. If all the electrons are paired, then mu or magnetic moment is 0. This is for, I'll write here, mu equal to 0 when electrons are paired. No unpaired electrons are there, all the electrons are paired, then in that case magnetic moment is a 0, and that is for all the paired electrons. So in that case nature is it is diamagnetic. You are supposed to find out then spin multiplicity, whether it is and that is also calculated with the help of unpaired electron present in the complex. If the one unpaired electron is there, then value of s spin quantum is half for one unpaired electron. If all the electrons are paired, then in that case S is a 0, and in that case spin multiplicity will be 1 there. So let us see the example so that you will come to know how to find out all these things from valence bond theory here. We'll take first example of NiCO4. I'll write here first example Ni, then CO4. First you find out your coordination number. What is a coordination number? So for this compound, coordination number is a 4, and then you can find out here the electronic configuration of central metal atom. So for nickel, electronic configuration for nickel we'll find out first. I'll write here. Coordination number is a 4. Then next one, what is the name of this compound now? Tetracarbonyl nickel. I'll write name also, tetracarbonyl nickel. Then we'll go for oxidation number of nickel. What is the oxidation number? Now this is CO is your neutral, and for nickel now in this complex oxidation number is 0. So first we'll go for electronic configuration of nickel, ground state and excited state. Nickel atomic number is 28. So we'll write here electronic configuration as 1s2, then 2s2, then 2p6, then 3s2, 3p6, 4s2 and 3d. How much 3d will be there? 6 plus 4, 10, 10, 20, so 3d8. So you can write this as 18 electrons are present in argon. So you can write electronic configuration as argon 18 electron, then 3d8, 4s2. So we'll show now in case of formation of coordination complexes, d orbital is used, outermost orbital is used. So we'll write the, we'll show the 3d orbitals. There are 5 subshells, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 4s is also there, 4s. So here in this case, first electrons are filled singly, 5 electrons. 8 electrons are there in 3d orbital. This is your 3d, and then pairing takes place. So this is your 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, then 6, 7 and 8. And in 4s again 2 electrons are there. So coordination number of this compound is a 4. So wherever coordination number is a 4, either your geometry is sp3 or it is, another one is what? Either it is sp3 or, I'll write here, sp3 hybridization is possible, or another one is dsp2. So if you consider the electronic configuration for nickel, then in d orbital 2 unpaired electrons are present, 4s orbital is already filled, and the carbonyl, now in the formation of nickel, tetracarbonyl nickel, carbonyl is your ligand and it is a strong ligand. So here in this case, wherever there is a strong ligand, it pair up the electrons and make orbitals empty there. required for the bond formation or required to use the orbital. So here there are four CO groups present or carbonyl groups are there. So in this case what happens, this carbonyl pair up the electron and here there is a formation of hybrid orbital. This is your 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here pairing takes place already. This is your 1, 2 and 3. These are already filled. Two orbitals are singly filled here. So I'll show this also. This is your singly filled orbital. So two electrons from 4s orbital, these are shifted in 3D and there is a formation of 4s orbital now empty. Also 4p is already there as electrons are entered in 4s orbital. 4p and 4d is also there. This is your 4p and 4s. This is a 3d. And the coordination number is 4 now. 4 carbonyl CO groups are there and 4 CO groups, there are 8 electrons. So it required 4 orbitals empty and hence 4s, 1 4s and 3 4p orbitals are there. So total these orbitals comes together to form sp3 hybridization. sp3 hybridization. So here the CO use these 4 orbitals and place their electrons in the 4s and 4p orbitals. The hybridization is sp3. I'll write here sp3 hybridization. So this is your NiCO4 compound. Now you from the diagram itself you can find out. First you are supposed to find out hybridization. So I'll write here hybridization. Then from hybridization you can find out geometry also. Geometry. Then nature. Then type of complex. Type of complex. Then next magnetic moment. Magnetic moment and spin multiplicity. Spin multiplicity. So now you go for first hybridization. Hybridization is sp3 type of hybridization in case of NiCO4. Then next is geometry. Wherever hybridization is sp3, geometry is a tetrahedral geometry. What about nature now? Nature you can find out from the electrons. Here in this case all the electrons are paired and so the nature is diamagnetic. Diamagnetic. Then type of complex you are supposed to find out. Type of complex. Now 3D orbital is not used here. sp3 orbitals are used. So it is outer orbital complex. Outer orbital complex. What about magnetic moment now? Magnetic moment you are supposed to calculate using the formula under root n into n plus 2. And n I told you it is a number of unpaired electron. So if number of unpaired electron is 0, all the electrons are paired. So number of unpaired electrons is 0 and so magnetic momentum, I'll write here, mu is equal to 0 bm, Bohr's magneton. You are supposed to write that unit also. What about spin multiplicity now? Spin multiplicity is your 2s plus 1. That is equal to s is again 0. Why? Because all the electrons are paired. So it is 2 into 0 plus 1 is equal to 1 is the spin multiplicity. And wherever there is nature is a diamagnetic, wherever it is a diamagnetic complex, this is your low spin complex. Low spin complex. Wherever it is a paramagnetic, that means any unpaired electron is present in the complex, then in that case what happens, wherever paramagnetic, that means unpaired electron is there, then in that case it is a high spin complex, because in the orbital only one electron is present and it spins or revolve around itself very speedily, and so it is a high spin complex there wherever the complex is a paramagnetic. Wherever diamagnetic, then one is in clockwise direction, another one is anti-clockwise direction, so plus minus gets cancelled with each other and it is a low spin complex. So this is about the first compound, valence bond theory. So how to find out now all the things, that is hybridization, then geometry, then nature, then type of the complex, then magnetic momentum and spin multiplicity. So first you supposed to find out your coordination number of the given compound, then you go for geometry, that means first you go for the electronic configuration, ground state electronic configuration, then you go for the oxidation state of central metal atom, and accordingly you find out your configuration of that ion, and then you go for whether the ligand is a strong ligand or weak ligand. If the ligand is a strong ligand, then in that case it pair up the electrons and it makes orbital empty to place its own electrons there. If the ligand is a weak ligand, then it can use the outermost orbitals for the hybridization, and in that case you will get the outer orbital complexes there. We'll take one more example so that it is again much clearer.